Alright, so if you guys haven't seen the previous video where I showed you the best possible setup for your clippers, this is the best possible setup for your trimmers. It doesn't really matter which two trimmers you have. I'm currently using the new Rebel trimmer that came in my set, and I'm using this to make really sharp lines. I want this to be very sharp, and I like using this one for a little bit more of the softer stuff. If a kid walks in, if I want to go around the neck, if I don't want to irritate nobody. So I'm going to show you how to zero gap these two, and we're going to be using the digital microscope. So if you guys need to pick one up, you can go ahead and do that. And we also have the zero gap tool here, which we'll be able to use for this blade. I'm not sure if we'll be able to use it for that blade. We're going to try. But one of them we're going to zero gap aggressive, and one of them we're going to soft set, and that's what this soft part here is. So the thing is a lot of you guys want to cut hair like me or the way you see other people cut, and your stuff is not set up correctly. So let's go ahead and let's fix that. So a lot of times when you get a new machine, there's going to be factory grease on your blades. It might even smoke when you turn it on. It's actually pretty normal. What that is that's a little break-in grease. You're supposed to turn that on, run it for 30 seconds, and that's going to kind of hone these two blades together and make it so they work properly. So first thing we're going to do here, this is the one that we want to zero gap aggressively. I'm going to put that right in here. Next, we're going to crack these bolts loose. I'll use my electric screwdriver. Just a little bit. Don't take them out. They're a real pain in the butt to put back in, and they're not very long. So we're going to test, and we'll see how good this digital gap tool does. But now with them loosened, I can go ahead, I can tighten them back down. And that blade should have slid forward a little bit. So let's check it. I want to see what the zero gap looks like. Wow. That's pretty impressive, y'all. I mean, that thing is close. It almost looks about perfect. I could tell on this right side, it needs to come back a tiny bit on this right side. But none of these zero gapping tools are really going to be perfect most of the time. You're going to have to test them with a digital microscope. If you really want to have a perfect gap, if you really want to have the best performance there is, you got to get this stuff right, y'all. And I know some of you guys have been like, hey, Ed, can you set my machines up and send them back to me? Like, no. You got to learn how to do this on your own. Nobody gave it to me. I won't give it to you. I'll teach you how to do it, and then it'll be yours forever. But I have this whole thing nice and tight towards the back. It's sitting in there the way it should be, and I'm just trying to give a little more pressure to the left side than the right side, and we'll see if that gets my zero gap a little better. Tighten those down, and let's test it out. That did it. Looks really good on that other side. Let me see if I can dial that focus and you guys might be able to see this. Look at how perfect that gap is. You see how those black teeth, there's very, very little space. And if I look on this side, same thing. Hardly any space there, but it is a little bit behind that blade. So this one's good to go, and this is going to be super sharp. So you guys, I hope you guys could see that even if you're using some kind of zero gap tool, that they're not going to be perfect. There's no way to do this perfectly without a microscope. If you get a microscope, one for the whole shop, you guys could all use it. And another little secret is do not tighten these blades too tight. Like, in fact, I'm going to back those off a little bit from the electric screwdriver, and I'm going to just softly put them down. When you don't have all that extra tension there, the blades will usually perform a lot better. Now this is cutting tight, and it's cutting good too. All those little hairs, that is working nice. And notice how I'm angling it this way. This is how it's going to be the most rough, and it definitely feels like it's cutting close, but it's cutting really good. So this one's done. We'll clean this up, put that back into action, and now let's offset this one. Okay, you guys, when you put this in here, you don't want to seat it all the way down like the other one. You actually need to make sure that you get the tip of this blade. See, if it's all the way down there, that's not going to do nothing. You got to make sure that you get the tip of the blade into that little section there. And it looks like this tool will probably work to zero gap this. So we're going to go ahead and we'll crack these bolts loose a little bit, just like we did before. And in all likelihood, this is actually going to slide back a little bit because this is the soft set side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to gently push forward on this. Not hard, just gently. So that should reset the blade to the height we want. And I'm going to jump back and forth and tighten these up little by little. That is a great set. So yeah, with this one here, we're going to be using this one to remove a lot of our bulk, being that it's a little more powerful than the Rebel. But the Rebel is all new, redesigned, and it's going to be a fantastic little pairing, these two. This is my sharp line maker. This is my under the chin, under the neck, that type of stuff. And if you haven't seen the clipper video where I showed you guys how to have a perfect setup, you guys can head over to that video right now. You can check that out. I've been releasing it in shorts, but you can also see it in its entirety. That's why I put all these together, man. So this is the YouTube Barber Academy, over 800 videos to help you learn. I hope you get your setup correctly, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.